Hi guys, my name is Malia and today I'm going to be showing you how to download OpenFoam on the Mac. So a quick overview of this is we're going to be downloading 4 separate things, and that's going to include XQuartz, Docker, OpenFoam itself, and ParaView. And I'm also going to be showing you kind of an intro into the syntax that you're going to be using in XQuartz and OpenFoam, including how to make folders in the directory and so on so forth. What we're going to do first is we're going to download XQuartz, which is the equivalent of the terminal that you see on Mac. We have to download XQuartz here because we cannot use our terminal on the Mac in order to run OpenFoam, since OpenFoam is a Linux-based program. So I've provided the link for you down below, but you can also just type in XQuartz download Mac here. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on this first link right here. And it's going to load on here. And we are going to open this, and then we're going to double click and further allow it to go. And also another thing is when you're downloading this, it may ask you to log out or restart your Mac, and you're going to have to do that. So I would suggest following it and then coming back to this video to finish downloading OpenFoam. So now that we have that, it should pop up. I'm just going to search for it right here. So we have it downloaded. I'm going to open it up, and what I'm going to do, it's just going to look like this. So it looks exactly like terminal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press XQuartz and then preferences, and I'm going to go to security, and then I want to make sure that both of these boxes are checked. And this is for later in the video when we're actually going to be using OpenFoam and ParaView. It allows ParaView to run on OpenFoam. It will not work if these are not checked. So now that those are checked, I'm just going to exit out of XQuartz. And we're done with that for now, and we'll move on to downloading our next program. We're going to move on and download Docker now. And again, I provided a link for you down below, or you can type into Google Docker download for Mac, and it should bring you to this page. We need to download Docker in order for OpenFoam to actually run on the Mac. This actually enables the binaries compiled on a Linux environment to be run on other platforms. So that's why we need Docker. And as you can see, there's different downloads depending on what chip your Mac runs with. And this is really simple to figure out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the Apple in the corner and click About This Mac. And then you should see that it says chip right there, and mine says Apple M1, meaning my Mac has a Apple chip. If you have an Intel chip, it will say something with Intel in it. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be doing Mac with Apple chip, but they also have instructions here that you can follow along for either one. So if you have an Intel chip, it will tell you how to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this and let it download, and then I'll open it. And what I'm going to do is drag it and drop it into applications. And then I'm going to open my applications, and Docker should be here. As you can see, it's still loading, so we're going to wait for it. So after it's downloaded, what we're going to do is we're going to click and open Docker. and it should pop up like this, and you are going to have to click this button in the corner, sign in. So you're going to end up having to make an account if you don't already have one. So when you click on sign in, it should bring you to this page. So what you're going to have to do is pause this video and create this account. But before you do that, it's obviously going to bring up some like terms of service that you're going to have to agree with, and then this is going to pop up, or something similar to it, where it just shows you the different packages that you can get. So obviously there's the personal, pro, team, and business. You can get what you need. I only got the personal that for my class. If you're only running basic OpenFoam things and you don't need anything more than the personal, OpenFoam worked, and Docker worked perfectly for me with just the personal. So don't buy it if you don't need to. So go ahead and make your account and click whichever package you want and agree to the terms of service. And once you do, you are going to want to open Docker back up and click sign in. So now that we've done that, we do actually need to install Rosetta. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go into terminal. So I'm just going to search for terminal and open it. And I'm just going to copy this line. Oh. There we go. As is, and let it go. And then I'm going to agree. So I'm going to press A. And now that that is done, I will also link below a user manual for the Docker desktop on the Mac, when it will go more in detail about what Docker does and how you can use it, and like the specifics of it. So you can go ahead and check that out when you have time. And that's it for Docker. So now that we've downloaded XQuartz and Docker, we can actually work on installing OpenFoam itself. And this actually starts by going to Finder. And there's two ways to get to where we need to go. The first is pressing Command-Shift-G all at once to bring up this search bar. And you're going to put in \users, and if you press enter, it should take you here. And this just shows all the users on your Mac. And you're just going to click the user that you want to be working on OpenFoam in. So mine is going to be me, obviously. If I go back to desktop, the other way to get here is pressing Command-Shift-H, and that takes me straight into my folder instead of showing all the users on the Mac. So you can use whatever you want. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a new folder in here, and we're going to title it OpenFoam. And then we're going to go into OpenFoam and create another folder and title it Run. Now that we've done that in Finder, we're going to go to Google Chrome. And again, I've already provided the link for you down below, and it's going to take you to a page that shows all the different versions that you can download onto Mac. So obviously there might be versions above 9 when you're watching this, but I'm going to be downloading version 9, which is the most recent. So you can go ahead and click on whatever download you want, and then we're going to be brought to this page. And we've already installed Docker, so we're skipping 1 and 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to go straight to step 3. So in order to do this, we are going to open XQuartz up. So we're going to go up and search for XQuartz and open it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to copy this first line of script, and you have to actually scroll across to get the whole thing. And we're going to type it exactly as it's written. And we're just going to press enter. And then it's going to ask you for your password. This is the password that you type in for your Mac user. And it's not going to look like you're typing anything, but you are. Don't worry. It's still working. And after you typed it, you press enter. Oh. So let me make sure I put everything in right. Sudo curl user. Oh, see, so I made a mistake. This is actually really good. I forgot the L in local right here. So instead of having to type that entire thing over again, what I can do is I can click the up arrow key, and it brings down what I had written before, and I'm just going to use the left arrow key to go to where my mistake is and fix it. And now I'm going to press enter. And now it's downloaded. So you should see that it had that there. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to type this second line here now, again, exactly as it appears. So we're also going to skip step 4 because we already did that earlier in the video when we downloaded XQuartz. And we're also going to be skipping step 5. You can pause the video and do this if you want to, or you can come back to it later. I didn't do this when I first downloaded it, and I had no problems using OpenFoam or accessing files. So that is completely up to you. But for this tutorial, I am not going to be doing step 5. So before we go on to step 6, we are going to go ahead and download ParaView. So I'm going to keep this tab open because we're going to be coming back to it. But again, I've provided a link for you for this ParaView download, or again, you can type into Google ParaView download for Mac. And we're going to click on this here. And ParaView is the program that we're using in order to actually view the data that we're analyzing and creating when we're in OpenFoam. So make sure that, Mac OS is selected here, and then obviously you can download whichever version you want. I'm going to be downloading the most recent version, which for me is 5.10. And then what we're going to do from here is we're going to be clicking this second link, which is the .package. Okay, now that it's fully downloaded, we're going to go ahead and open it. And we're just going to let it install. Good. And now you have downloaded ParaView. Okay, now that we're done downloading ParaView, the last thing that we have to do is actually open OpenFoam and make sure that it works and runs well. In order to do this, we need to make sure that Docker is open. So I'm going to go ahead and open Docker up. I just want to add here that you actually have to open Docker every time you want to use OpenFoam. So this is going to be a step that you do every time you go to open OpenFoam. Hello. There we go. Go ahead and open Docker up. You can see that I'm signed in. We just need Docker to be open. We don't actually have to be seeing it, so I'm going to minimize the window. And then I'm going to open XQuartz up. So that way I can type in my commands. So we're just going to copy what it says here, cd home OpenFoam. And basically this means that we are within that OpenFoam folder that we created in Finder earlier. So now we're going to do the next line to actually launch OpenFoam. So mine says OpenFoam 9 because I'm downloading version 9. If you're downloading a different version, your number will be different here, obviously. And we are running with ParaView, so we're going to add a -p just like it says down here. If you do not want to use ParaView, then you can type this in without the -p. So if you see a bunch of random letters and numbers here, that means that it worked because you're in Docker now, technically. So now that we're in Docker, we're going to move on to step 7. So we're going to type cd foam run, and that's going to take us into the run folder that we made when we were in Finder. And before we go any further into step 7, I want to tell you guys some of the basics about the syntax that you're going to be using in XQuartz for OpenFoam. So if we go back to Finder and then press Command-Shift-H or Command-Shift-G and then search for \user, then you're going to get back to here where we created this OpenFoam folder, which is what we were within earlier. And then once we typed the cd foam run, we are now within the run folder, which, as you can see, it doesn't have anything in it. But the way to, instead of physically going into Finder, you can actually type within XQuartz to make a folder. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to press mkdir, which is standing for make directory, -p, and then we're going to write tutorial. So now within OpenRun, you can see that we made a folder named tutorial. So if you want to see if a folder exists, you can type ls and then the folder name. So I'll type ls tutorial. Let me see if I type ls school. Cannot access school because there's no such file or directory, as you can see. So you can see there's now you know two different ways to make folders. You can either physically go into Finder and create a new folder, or you can type into XQuartz, and so if I was in OpenFoam, if it said OpenFoam here and I did make directory, then that folder would show up next to run. But since I was in run, it made that tutorial folder within run. And another thing we can do, which you can see further in step 7, is copy things. So what it's having us do here is actually copy one of the tutorials from OpenFoam into our run folder. OpenFoam has a whole bunch of tutorials, and this is just a way to access one of the folders. I will show you how you can copy all of the tutorials into that tutorial folder that we just made. So that way you can view all of them and have access to all of them, because I know that was something that I found confusing when I first downloaded this. So I actually wanted to show you right now how you can copy all of the tutorials into this tutorial folder, which is empty. And before we actually do this, we're actually going to rename this. We just want to add an S to it, so that way it reads tutorials. And what we're going to type into, we want to make sure that you're within the run folder, so it says run right there. And we're going to type CP, so copy our $foam _ tutorials, which is all of the tutorials that we're going to be putting into our folder, and then foam _ run, because the tutorials is within the run folder. We're going to press enter. And then once you click into tutorials, you'll see, well, there's some of them are still showing up, but you'll see that we have all the tutorials within here now. So if you ever want to do any of them or play around with OpenFoam, you have all these examples that you can do. So yeah, you can just see there's a bunch of different types, and now we can get on with the rest of the video. So now if we go back to Finder and we click run, you can see that we now have this folder called Pits Daily, which is a tutorial that we just copied into run. What we're going to do is we're going to go into Pits Daily. So again, we're going to press CD and then Pits Daily. And you can see that the name changed right here from run to Pits Daily. So I'm now in Pits Daily. And before I go any further into this, I just want to say that if you want to check out my next video, I'll be going more in depth about each of the folders, or the basic folders that you will be using for problems in OpenFoam, such as the 0, constant, and system folders. And I will also go more in depth about ParaView and what can be done on there. And if you don't want to watch my next video, I have linked below in the comments the user manual for version 9 of OpenFoam. And on there they have 3 really helpful beginner problems that I would suggest doing to familiarize yourself with OpenFoam and ParaView. And it also has some of the information that I'm going to be talking about in my next video, but a lot more in depth, along with additional information that I will not be covering. So if you're interested in any of that and interested in commands that you might want to run that I'm not going to explain, you can see that down below. Or if the link's not working, or if you downloaded a different version, then you can just go straight to Google and type in OpenFoam version, whatever number you have, user manual, and it should be the first link. It works just fine for your version 9, and this is just a PDF. So it has a lot of great information in there if you want to go a lot more in depth into OpenFoam itself. So we're going to continue with step 7 now. And so now that we're inside Pits Daily, just like it says, we're going to run this block mesh program or command, which again I will be talking about more in my next video if you want to check it out. So as you can see, it just created our geometry, and then we're going to run SimpleFoam just like it says. And this is all the computations and the calculations. And this might take a second, so you can go ahead and come back when you are done. Okay, so once SimpleFoam is done running, as you can see, it tells you the amount of time that it took to run it and how many iterations it took. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to view this now in ParaView. So that command is ParaFoam, and I like to run it instead of just typing ParaFoam. I like to run it with ParaFoam and, which means that you're kind of running it in the background, and I found that it's easier on Mac, or for my Mac at least, to do it this way because I've typed in just ParaFoam before, and it's brought up ParaView, and then it's kind of crashed in the middle of me looking at my geometry. So I found that typing the and helps keep it open. So what we're going to do is it opens this, and we're going to go ahead and click apply. And you should see this shape. If we go up here to the top, it shows the different things you can look at. So you can go ahead and look at velocity here, and then you can go ahead and press play, and you can watch as it changes. So that means if your screen looks like this, that means that you've successfully downloaded OpenFoam and ParaView, and it is working well. Thank you for watching. Like I said, I will have another video after this going more in depth on the basics of each folder, within a problem, and I will be doing a problem and what each command means, such as block mesh and SimpleFoam. So thank you, and have fun computing.